Good morning, everyone. Oops.
Welcome to Wake Up Missoula.
I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone.
It must be the daylight saving times hiccup, and you know what that means. Time to down some baking soda.
Yeah.
And
Get some, whatever it is that they did in the past to cure hiccups, I will do today, but not now. But Good morning. My name is Noel McFoy, and welcome to Wake Up Missoula. That was Asaph Adonai on piano. Asaph, what was that?
That is a beautiful hymn called Just As I Am.
I like that.
There's a reason why I'm playing that.
Nice. Okay, cool. That was awesome. Sweet.
Well, we have a lot of stuff for you guys today. We have the very last of the art clips featuring from the Zootown Arts Community Center. It's the last day to go check it all out with all the Day of the Dead art that was provided and also was shown during the Day of the Dead parade.
Yeah.
So if you guys get a chance to see it, you can also see it on MCAT's Facebook page, Missoula Community Access Television on Facebook. You can watch the whole entire Day of the Dead parade or Dia de los Muertos. But of course, the weather, of course, the sunrise is coming a little sooner, just a little bit because of, daylight savings time.
It was so nice.
It was really nice. It was very it was like really silhouette.
Yeah, it was beautiful
outside.
This morning. It was also nice to be able to wake up and have it be bright.
Yes.
And not just shrouded in darkness.
Yeah, it's been lucky the last couple nights. If you've got a chance to be out and about, the night sky has been looking great. Twilight, dusk morning is beautiful outside, but of course it's cold. But that's the symptom of the fall, which is basically pre-winter.
I'm pretty pleasantly surprised that we've had a fall actually, and haven't gotten pelted with snow or any really weird.
I'm really
weather.
happy that fall has lasted longer this year than it's lasted the last couple of years.
Then I can remember,
because it was just spring became summer, and summer became winter. Winter became
summer became
summer
winter
again, and then summer skipped everything else and became spring.
Yeah,
it's so weird. But of course, weather, it's currently 28 degrees outside. You can expect your high to be 54 degrees. It's going to be partly sunny, partly cloudy, lows into 33 tonight. But of course, hopefully those clouds will keep some of the heat in for your Tuesday, because Tuesday is Election Day, and you guys are excited for Election Day, because I sure am not. Wait, I sure am not.
I'm sure not.
I'm sure not. I'm sure not. Because either way, we're in trouble. I don't really care who's going to be in charge.
Scott and I were discussing it, though. It's very weird and surreal to think about that, after Tuesday, our entire world is going to change.
Yeah.
Be very different.
But one thing's for sure, it's probably not going to change for the better. It probably, if anything, nothing really changes, it just kind of stays the same, kind of as always has. Maybe in the beginning, it's I'm going to change the world, and then they realize it's I have to do all this stuff. It's okay, forget that. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. But
Old man ramp.
You guys can keep doing what you're doing by logging on to wakeupmissoula.wixsite.com/wakeupmissoula to find us and more. Wait a minute, that looks like the same shirt I'm wearing right now. Anyways.
Awkward Scott.
Switch, you can like us on our Facebook page. You can follow us on Twitter at Wake Up Missoula. You can...
MCAT also has a Twitter. You guys can follow us at MCAT Missoula. You can like us on our Facebook page and find out more information about us. Just go to MCAT.org.
And of course, Saturday Drop-In was great.
Yes, super successful.
Me and a bunch of kids put our heads together, and we made this nice little stop animation short. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And when we come back, we'll talk about news.
Yeah.
Stop right there. I got you now.
No, please.
Ah!
You saved me. Who are you, Sir Knight?
There's no time for this.
Get him!
Let's get out of here. You got to stop falling.
I think it's safe.
You got to keep your head down, or you might lose it.
You honor me with your valor.
What are you guys doing in my forest?
We mean no disrespect. We're trying to hide from the evil king.
Is there any way you can help us?
Please.
There's nothing I can do for you.
Wait! Everyone's trying to kill us. You're our only hope.
Okay, I will fight for you.
Great, you might have saved our kingdom.
Ah, I got you!
No! Please, speak to me.
It was a pleasure serving, sir.
Kneel to the better man!
You're no better man.
I'm going to kill you.
Ah!
Your friend has been avenged.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, Scott.
That happened. Yeah, so it's always fun just to do some stop animation stuff.
It is,
Yeah.
especially when we use our kids to like do the different voices.
Yeah.
They bring a lot of their own character to it.
A lot more personality than I ever could, even though my personality can only extend so much based on how much of the voice modulator I use.
I'm so sorry, Scott.
I'm so sad. But yeah, I only did one voice for the whole
Yeah.
entire thing, and I gotta get a bunch of kids just to do voices. I think I'll just try to do that every Saturday. It gets them more active, and they get a little more experience on how to add sounds and voices to their own videos. A lot of the kids, they have a tendency to kind of like slow down, like really fast stop animation. So
Oh,
it's just
yes.
like they're right here, then they're right over here, then they're right here, then it's done.
Yeah.
It's like 3 pictures and then they're done.
I literally,
It's like-
they're done. They're like, I'm done with this. So we made all of our kids. You have to do at least 100 frames.
Yeah, 100 frames is a lot, and that's only maybe about 10 seconds
15,
of
yeah.
a
Yep.
video based
Yep.
on this or that. But of course,
Yeah.
anything happening into
Yeah.
the world today?
So yes, so one thing that is happening in the world today, in our world, Montana world, that's going to be very, we're going to see the effects of this. So cattle prices have been steadily dropping over the past 2 years, and they are now at very devastating historic low, at an all-time low. And so they have never seen prices collapse the way that they are collapsing now. And so in the fall of 2014, cattle prices hit a record high due to lack of inventory. And so many ranchers had to acquire more land and invest in more producing animals. However, due to a complicated set of factors, including oversupply and what some allege is collusion? I don't know what that is, but okay. So the prices the ranchers are getting paid from meat packers have plummeted like dead weight. Excuse me. They've actually even called in some legal guys to look into the meat packing meat packers just in case there's a price fixing. And so it's at an all-time record low. And so let's see. Ranchers are getting between $2.50 and $2.75 per pound as recently as a year and a half ago, but those same animals are now fetching $1.10 and $1.30 per pound, so entirely in half. One rancher estimated that the price drop has cost him about $800 a head on his 700 head ranch. Yeah, which means his profits have been cut in half over the past 2 years. And so fuel prices as well as equipment prices have not lowered, or they've only, stayed the same, or they've increased. So cattle prices are at an all-time low, and there are a lot of ranchers that are desperately seeking for a way to, survive, keep their ranches, and support their livelihood.
Yeah, I really I think I read something in an article somewhere that there are definitely more livestock in Montana than people.
Yes, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, and so now, because of, maybe possibly price fixing issues in the meatpacking industry, those are all going down.
Wow.
So that's scary, especially if that's your whole life. You put your whole life into that. Yeah. And you're losing half your profit.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on in Montana world.
It's I can imagine it's darn cow.
Yeah, right.
It's I make more money with beans than with that cow.
Make more money rolling burritos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each burrito is worth more than a cow.
So bad.
And the cow's we shouldn't be laughing.
I know, that's really bad.
It's people's
I know.
people's livelihood is at
It
stake.
made me sad. I was like, oh my goodness. I hope that this changes. It's scary.
I wonder if a bunch of ranchers is gonna kill their cows.
I wonder too, or how that's gonna work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, so my next piece of news, which I'm sure you guys have all heard, so there's been an ongoing investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, and they also just found a bunch. So the FBI found new emails as a part of a separate investigation into a sexting incident by Anthony Weiner, which is the estranged husband of a top Clinton aide. And so they found a bunch of emails, and they looked into that, of course, dropped the ball only a week or two before the election. But they found out that the thousands of new emails were mostly personal and duplicates of what had already been seen. So they decided that they are not going to bring any charges against her, and that their conclusion remains the same, that she is not guilty of anything. And the election is tomorrow. So after tomorrow,
Wow.
we're gonna have a whole new world, which just blows my mind. It's very surreal to me.
Well, like at the same time, it's like Julian Assange. Like he's the one who actually founded WikiLeaks, and he released those things because he definitely has an axe to grind against Hillary.
Yeah.
And like because like it's I think it was like during Hillary's Secretary of State campaign was when basically she released the hounds on Julian Assange, and then of course all this scandals, the stuff that everyone's been saying about Julian Assange. As a fact, and he can't leave the embassy anymore without being like nabbed and like begged and just taken into a white van and all that stuff. But that was a lot of personal stuff going on here. There's a lot of drama going on in the election. It's crazy. It's definitely one of the most media heavy elections and media sponsored.
Yeah, and very personal. I feel like this election is very taken very personal by the candidates.
I think and Hillary did take it very well because she did not hide anything.
No.
That's the one thing that her husband definitely tried to do in the late 90s is try to hide it.
Yeah.
That's why they were about to impeach him because he lied about it. If he would have been like, whatever, it's whatever, everybody does it, and then they wouldn't have done anything. But of course, because he lied under oath, that's why they're getting him off the thing.
Yep.
It wasn't because of with Monica.
It's also very interesting that people are using Bill Clinton as like a thing to attack Hillary on, even though he's not.
They're attacking her on every little thing, and Donald is just feeding the media with everything. It's completely ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure that everyone will be happy once it's over.
Yes.
And then have a whole bunch of new frustrations once it ends again.
I can't wait. Yeah.
I can't wait either. It's gonna be wonderful.
So then my last story is on November 14th is going to be the biggest supermoon we've seen since 1948, the last time the Cleveland Indians won the World Series. We won't see it again until 2034, and so a supermoon occurs when the moon becomes full on the same days as its perigee, which is the point in which the moon's orbit is closest to the Earth. So supermoons generally appear to be 14% bigger and 30% brighter than other moons, but this month's supermoon becomes full within 2 hours of its perigee, arguably making it an extra supermoon. Yeah. And so we will be able to see it. The best time for us to see it is going to be at 5:52 a.m. As the sun does not rise in the region until 6:25 a.m.
So that'll be a week from today.
Yeah, a week
and
from today.
We'll be able to see it once we come for the morning show. It's going to be just perfect with all that stuff.
Yeah, so we'll have to wake up super early, but yeah, we'll see it. It's going to be cool. Yeah, so you guys will check that out. So my first story was from the Missoulian, and then my last two stories were from CNN.
We have a whole bunch of new programming on tonight. That's why I split them up into Monday Megs and Tuesday Megs. And Megs are media assistant grants, which we provide for nonprofits and community events that happen in town. So if you have a community event that's coming up that wants to be televised and video archived for future generations, you can always contact MCAT or log on to MCAT.org and find the media assistant grants. But of course, this is the symptom of all these media assistant grants, and they'll be on MCAT tonight, and then I'll have Tuesday Megs after we talk about Monday events with Noel.
But why do you think the Republicans haven't made more of an effort to appeal, in a more coherent way to Latinos or to African Americans or to native voters in the past?
So I'm not sure, and I might just be just so cynical, but maybe it's just out of convenience that they don't really have to, unless it's an afterthought, a second thought of appealing to minorities and a wider crowd.
Similarly with Japanese, again, we're not looking for a specific level of Japanese proficiency for the ALT position, but we are looking for people, maybe start doing a little bit of self-study by yourself right now. Start watching Japanese movies and demonstrate to us that you would be willing to learn more if you were living in Japan.
Hey guys, we're back. All right, and I have got some events for your Monday. It's Monday, right? Yeah, of course. Okay, you guys. So up first, starting at 10:30 a.m. is going to be the Red Cross Blood Battle, which sounds a lot gnarlier than it is. So what it is that we're going to try to beat the Bobcats in donating blood. So you guys want to donate some blood and beat those Bobcats, you guys can go to redcrossblood.org and sign up for that. And we've got Yoga for Wellness. This is going to be at the Learning Center at Red Willow at noon. It's $40 for 4 weeks or just $12 to drop in. It's an ongoing class, so you can go anytime. Computer Fundamentals will be at the Missoula Public Library at 12:30. You can learn about the various components of a computer, including managing your desktop and how to open programs. Spaces limited to 5 people and registration is required. So you guys can call 721-BOOK or 721-2665 to register for that. Bridge group is at the Missoula Senior Center at 1. This is the beginner's brush up group. And then we have our duplicate bridge group at the Garden City Duplicate Bridge Club, also at 1. And that's located on 2825 Stockyard Road. I think it's off Reserve Street. And then over at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, they've got a Christmas applique wall hanging. So that starts at 1. And you can make this with your girls. You just go to this little class. So it'll be from the 7th of November till the 12th of December from 1 to 4, $127. So it's definitely, for those women that have afternoons to kill.
And some men.
And some men. I don't. Sorry, everyone. For those people.
Those people? What do you mean those people?
Those people with craft skills. Okay, so at the Missoula Public Library, there are going to be computer electronics in their makerspace. It starts at 3 o'clock. You can work on a project of your choice or learn how to use their equipment. And then this is what I would want to do if I was old enough, young enough. So it's a hip hop rap camp. This is at the Zootown Arts Community Center. It starts at 4 o'clock. It's going to be $235 or else $225 for members. It's going to be from November 7th till December 6th from 4 to 6 and ages 8 to 16. And so they're going to learn how to rap and do some hip hop. That sounds awesome. And then they're actually going to showcase everything on Top Hat's Family Friendly Friday on December 16th. So you guys will see that. That sounds really cute. At the Top Hat Lounge, they've got the live recorded shows of the Grateful Dead from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. They have that as long as with some happy hour specials and some trivia. There is a beginning fencing class. It starts at 5 o'clock. This is for ages 9 to 18. Cost of the program is only $100. Equipment is included if you guys want to sign up for that. You can go to missoulafencing.net. Then over the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, they've got a Flooring 101 class. It starts at 6 o'clock. And so it's for people that want to install some new flooring but don't know where to start or what to do. So it's going to be from 6 to 9, and it's only $24. It's only that one night. Over to Imagination Brewing Company is open mic night that starts at 6 o'clock. And then at 6:15, over at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, is Introduction to Pickleball. And so pickleball is I guess it's an indoor court similar to badminton, using paddles similar to table tennis. No, it's kind of a mix. Yeah, I don't really know how to explain it.
It's like they leave the tennis ball out in vinegar for a while and then it becomes pickleball.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's when you take a tennis ball, leave it in vinegar, and then you play a game with it.
Yeah.
Pickleball. I'm just kidding, it's not like that. But if you want to find out what it is like, that'll be at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
A lifelong of learning.
With Dickinson. What a great guy. Okay, there's ULA Power starting at 6:15 at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center from the 7th of November to the 12th of December. It's only $21. And then over at REI, they've got a ski and snowboard tuning basics. It starts at 6:30. If you guys want to sign up for that, you can go to rei.com/learn. And then over at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, they've got an intermediate ukulele class that starts at 7 o'clock. It's only $78, and it goes from the 7th of November until the 19th of December. We have another ULA class at 7:15 at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center. And then my last event for Monday at 7:30 is the jazz dance class for adults at the Downtown Dance Collective. So that's what's going on in your community for your Monday. Up next, we've got Musical Notes with Asaph Adonai.
Well, first of all, before we start, I want to make a very special birthday greeting Today is November 7th, is the 98th birthday of Billy Graham.
Wow. And who's Billy Graham?
Billy Graham was the famous evangelist of the past that spent his entire life just preaching about Christ all around the world. He's known as the evangelist to the presidents and to the common man. He just had a really fantastic career, something like 60 years.
Wow, 60 years. Can you
60
imagine?
years, yeah, since something like 1940-ish, around there.
Heck yeah, so he's 99?
Yeah, he's 98 today,
98.
November 7th, and I just think that's cool. So I wanted to just give that birthday greeting out.
Can you
Okay.
imagine like living to be like 90 something? You know?
Well, he doesn't look his age. He looks like he's maybe about 75.
Yeah, that's gonna be you, ASAP.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I just want to say congratulations to him and his family and the whole world of Christendom. And also, he was quoted this morning as saying, maybe I'll make it to 100.
Yeah. We can hope.
Well, you know, George Burns made it to 100, and
Yeah.
Bob Hope also made it to 100.
Kirk Douglas will be 100 in December.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a few, and I don't know if that guy on NBC is still doing that. Willard Scott, you know, he like when you're 100 years old, he like talks about you on TV.
That's cool.
I don't know if he's still doing that, but you have to be at least 100 years old to get mentioned by Willard Scott. So.
Even if he makes it 99, they should give him the grand 100.
Who knows?
You know,
Well, maybe Mr. Graham will make it to 100. We hope so. It's less than 2 years from today, I guess. Anyway. Oh, and I forgot to mention that song I played was Just As I Am. The reason I played that is because that song was associated with Billy Graham throughout his entire career. You know, every sermon this guy ever preached, they always played that Just As I Am at the end when people were getting right with God and stuff like that. So I just think that's a cool tribute. And that was like a signature song, an unintended signature song for him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful song.
It is, so that's why I played it this morning. Okay, our guest on today's musical notes and yours truly have one thing in common. Our guest is a fictional character that plays the piano, whereas I play the piano for real. Our guest was close friends in real life with band leader Glenn Miller in the 1940s, with whom he met while they were doing a movie called Orchestra Wives in 1942. And then in 1954, our guest was cast in the Glenn Miller story playing the pianist Chummy McGregor. Harry Brotsberg, known to the world as Harry Morgan, and there he is on the screen. And to tell you a little bit about Harry Morgan, born 1915, was an American actor and director whose television and film career spanned 6 decades. And his major role, his first stride, he played Officer Bill Gannon on Dragnet from 1967 to 1970. And my parents used to watch this man playing this role here. He played opposite Jack Wagner in this series. And that's how come I know him, because my parents used to watch him when I was a little boy growing up. And he hit his stride a second time, a bigger stride, playing Colonel Sherman T. Potter in MASH from 1975 to 1983. And he also played a series called After MASH in 1983 to 1984. And what was interesting about that series, it covered what happened after Hawkeye and all the people left the MASH unit and went back to the United States.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it focused mostly on Harry Morgan's character, Colonel Potter. He went back home to Mildred, and they showed who Mildred was. Huh. And then also the priest, Father McCahey, he was featured with Harry Morgan in this After MASH series, and he was losing his hearing, so he didn't think he was going to be an effective priest anymore. And the third and final character that they focused on, Jamie Farr's character, Klinger. Klinger gets a job in a hospital, and he's disrespected because he had fought in a war, and so the other doctors and surgeons didn't take him serious. And so that's basically what that After MASH series was about. And I thought it was a good series. It was good to see these actors older. And, all the others like Trapper and Hawkeye and Hot Lips and so on, they weren't mentioned. Just they focused on these three. with their lives back in the U.S. And unfortunately, the show only lasted about a season.
I was gonna ask you, it didn't last too long.
It didn't. I
Yeah.
just guess without Hawkeye and all the rest.
Well,
it's
and
not
then
the same.
MASH was such a hit too that I feel like any sequel after that just wouldn't work as well.
I enjoyed it, but I guess television land didn't. And also, Harry Morgan appeared in over 100 films throughout his career. That's quite an accomplishment. He was born, like I said, 1915 in Detroit, Michigan, and he was reared in Muskegon, Michigan, and he graduated from Muskegon High School in 1933, and he began acting in 1937. He started out on stage in 1937, and he appeared in a production called Clifford Odets' play Golden Boy. And he also did some other plays alongside Carl Malden, the actor on Streets of San Francisco. So that's a good bit of trivia there. His first screen debut was in a movie called The Shores of Tripoli in 1942. And that same year, as I mentioned, he did Orchestra Wives. And of course, in 1954, The Glenn Miller Story. And he continued acting. Some of his screen significant roles, he did a movie called The Oxbow Incident in 1943 with Henry Fonda. He also did a movie called High Noon in 1952 with Gary Cooper. That was quite a movie too, that High Noon, you should see it. And he just did some other films, a wide variety of characters. He did Strategic Air Command in 1955. He played Ulysses S. Grant in 1962 in How the West Was Won. And he played in 1969 Support Your Local Sheriff. And he did a movie called Snowball Express in 1972, The Shootist in 1976 with John Wayne. So that gives you an idea of just the wide variety of roles that this actor played. And finally, in 1980, he won an Emmy Award for his performance in MASH as well. And as I mentioned, he did this short-lived spin-off after MASH. He appeared in some Disney films like The Apple Dumpling Gang with Tim Conway, Cat from Outer Space with McLean Stevenson. And McLean Stevenson was the actor that played in MASH Colonel Henry Blake before Harry took over the role. And finally, The Apple Dumpling Gang rides again. So this man was well versed, and in 2006, he was inducted into the Hall of Great Western Performers at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. So Harry Morgan left the world some great pictures. There's 100 films to choose from, but he'll always be best remembered for playing on Dragnet, Detective Gannon, and of course, his most iconic role, MASH.
Nice. Cool. Thanks, Asaph.
On that note.
Yeah. That was awesome. Okay,
Thank
and
you.
so up next we have Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday new programming spanning from lecture series to something that you shot.
Oh. We'll see.
All right. Ooh. All right, here it is.
They have 7 kids, but only 4 of them are there, and then 2 of someone else's kids are there, and the other kids are off eating somewhere else, and that's really common. And then I would be remiss in talking about Bemba culture if I did not mention ubwali, which is, this food specifically is very common. I'm sure Peter is familiar with this as well. It's called different things in different places, fufu, ugali, I'm sure names I don't know.
Right here, see that fat line right here along the side? That's what's going to separate the point from the flat. It's 2 separate pieces of meat that's joined by that fat vein that comes in here. When you get to a certain temperature, your brisket, you can actually separate it and lop off that point without the worry of you bleeding out. Now, it's not like a steak. Like if you try doing that with the steak, you're cooking your steak along here, it's grilling up great, and you cut it in half, what's going to happen? It's going to bleed out, you're going to lose your moisture, and then it's over.
Most of the time, I really don't like contemporary dance, but that last one looked fun. I always, every time.
That's so mean.
It looks good though. Way to go! I don't care. I don't like contemporary dance. It's not for everyone.
And the dance show is called The Humanist.
Go check it out. Okay, so you guys, we're on to Tuesday events. So, starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. is Family Fun Time over at the Missoula YMCA. This is on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11:30. They've got lots of activities for children and nice comfy couches for the parents. All right, over at Taste Buds Kitchen, they have Election Day Chocolate Lovers Camp for ages 4 to 8. Starts at 9 a.m. It's going to be $45 per chef. We have a rice table at the Children's Museum of Missoula, starts at 11. And then a preschool playgroup over at Roots Aqua Sports Center, also at 11. This is for ages 1 to 5 years. They set up different activities and stations around the gym, and parents and children get to rotate and choose what they want to do. Over in the Alps Boardroom is Shooting the Bull Toastmasters. Starts at noon. The Alps Boardroom is located in the Florence building. This is a lively Toastmasters club that gets together. They improve their public speaking, grow their vocabulary, and increase their leadership and confidence. Over at the Zootown Arts Community Center, they still have their storytelling spectacular starting. That starts at 3:15, and this has been an ongoing class. I don't know if you had to be there from the beginning, but if you guys want to check it out, you probably could. It's at the Zootown Arts Community Center. At Karis Park, starting at 3:30, is Election Day Yoga and Meditation. And so they aim to provide an open, inclusive space for individuals to meditate and connect on Election Day in Missoula. Election is really stressful, and this has been one trip this election season. And so it's always good to meditate and clear your mind either before or after voting, or both. Over at the Missoula Art Museum, we have got an after-school art adventure 2 that starts at 3:45. This has been ongoing. It started October 25th, and it goes until November 29th. And so it's just pretty much Bev is going to inspire and challenge young students with a wide selection of materials and processes. Over at Draftworks Brewing Company, they've got Cheers for Charity. This is benefiting Word. Word is Women's Opportunity Resource Development from 5 to 8. 50 cents from each beer sold goes back to them. We have a picking circle at the Top Hat Lounge at 6. This is for bluegrass-oriented musicians to go down there and jam out. And then at Imagination Brewing Company is traditional Irish music that starts at 6 o'clock as well. And then at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, they've got a cooking class. It's called Cook Well, Be Well. And so it's pretty much about, they're going to explore how to use fresh produce and lean proteins with every meal. And it's going to be from 6 to 9, and it's only $42. And then at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, we've got Painting with Color class. It starts at 6:30. It'll focus on color and how to use it to create beautiful, colorful paintings. Duh. So that's from Tuesdays, the 8th of November to it just has a 0, the 0 day of December. I don't know. It's $71.
That's awkward.
Yeah, it's very awkward. I couldn't even
$71?
maybe like the 30th or the 20th of December, one of those days. At the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, they've got stamping and card making basics. Starts at 6:30. It'll be from Tuesdays from the 8th of November until the 15th of November. So only 2 classes from 6:30 to 8:30. Then at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, another class, they have your make your own bed or table runners. It starts at 6:30. And then we have an African dance class at the Missoula Senior Center starting at 7. And then over at the Downtown Dance Collective, they've got a Latin dance sampler. And so what it is, it's an ongoing course for all levels and different dance. Each week, it'll be 6 weeks, and so a different dance style will be explored. And it looks like every 6 weeks. Yeah, so it's an ongoing thing. But if you guys want to sign up for that or get more information, you can just call 541-7240. And then at the Roots Aqua Sports Center, we've got Adult TNT at 8. This is for ages 16 and up to go jump around and tumble around. And then we have Missoula Music Showcase at the Badlander at 9. So as always, check out MissoulaEvents.net, the University of Montana website, the Independent, or the Missoulian for more events.
Yep. And we do have Kempson and Cole to talk about sports because Sentinel High School went to the playoffs last Friday against Glacier, and we'll hear all about it right after this art clip, which is the very last time we'll be able to show this art clip from the Zootown Arts Community Center because they'll be changing it all. So this is your last chance to check it out. Go to the Zootown Arts Community Center today because that is the last day, which is today, of this art clip. I keep on talking too much. And here's the clip now.
Time for sports on Missoula Community Access Television. I'm Cole Johnson.
And I'm Kempson Cross.
The Missoula Sentinel Spartans lose in their first round playoff game in the quarterfinals to Kalispell Glacier by the score of 35-14. Drew Turner, 256 yards rushing in that game, took control. Kalispell Glacier had a 21-0 lead and ended up winning 35-14. Kempson, your thoughts on the quarterfinal loss by the Spartans?
Well, I think we saw even earlier in the year that Missoula Sentinel didn't have the size of some other teams in AA, and I think that kind of caught up with them on Friday night. Even though it seemed like it was a trend where all the winning teams, it seemed like, had 250 to 300 yards rushing. I think that part of the reason that Drew Turner was able to go off for a school record 256 yards for the Glacier High Wolfpack was because of a little bit of a lack of size, and also just they dominated time of possession, did the Wolfpack. Out of the 48 minutes of game clock, Sentinel had it for about 15 minutes of that, and so that's over half an hour of game clock that Glacier was just able to control the football. And so 35-14, 21-0, almost at halftime. Then Brandon Morley threw the first of his 2 touchdowns to Nick Germer, and they hooked up again in the second half for the 14 Sentinel points. Sentinel took some good steps forward as a program this year. They were arguably more successful on the road than they were at home, and so they can work on their home team, or they can work on being successful at home a little bit. And if they take care of business at home a little better next year, heck, maybe they can take that next step and even host a playoff game. It could happen. If they're able to transition smoothly. I know that they're going to have some skill position transition to take place, especially at the quarterback running back position, but those seniors did a great job getting them to the playoffs this year. Dane Oliver and his staff did a good job as well, and they clinched a playoff spot before the regular season was even over, and so that's a good step for them as well. So Sentinel beaten by Glacier after that all-time great shootout that we had the privilege to call in Washington Grizzly Stadium. That was a lot of fun. Less fun result this time, but Sentinel had a good year, and Glacier's year continues.
Yeah, when you can run the football, you can definitely control the game, and that's what Glacier did. And even looking at the Big Sky game for Missoula Sentinel this past season, that's what Big Sky was able to do with Janicaro and Lighty, just keep running the football and took control of the game. And as you mentioned, when you can own the clock, things are looking good for you, and that's why Glacier was able to win that game. Let's look at some of the other quarterfinal matchups. Billings Senior, 51 points on Missoula Big Sky. It was the second time they blew them out. They beat them by 42 points the first time. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on that game?
Well, 51-15, you flipped the score around a little bit there. Missoula Big Sky, excuse me. Big Sky, Janicaro had 2 rushing touchdowns. He's, like we said a couple times on this program, he's one of those guys that is a potential all-state running back at the quarterback position, and he can throw a little bit too. But Billings Senior is just a tough football team, and there's no shame in for Big Sky in just going in there and they've just got athletes all over the place, the Bronx. And Big Sky, again, Janet Caro had a couple touchdowns, and they were able to rebound from a 2-8 year last year where they dealt with a lot of injuries, and returned to being the Missoula City champions and returned to the playoffs, which is good for them. Both wins for them. And Billings Senior has yet to lose still here in this season since losing the state championship game almost a year ago. 420 yards rushing as a team, and Nate Askelson had 110 of those and 3 touchdowns. Nate Dick had over 265 yards and 4 total touchdowns, and so that gives you a little bit of an idea of just all the weapons they have, and they have athletes along each, like in the trenches as well. Billings Senior, no one's been able to hang with them for all 48 minutes. And the Bronx started their championship run in the postseason with a strong victory.
Yeah, the train just keeps on moving for the Bronx, compiling win after win after win. They have great athletes, they have great size, and that's the reason why they're putting up some big time points and winning very handedly. So they move on to the semifinals. Helena Capital 23-13 over Billings West. At a 23-0 lead in the first half, they win 23-13. This team started 1-4, Helena Capital, and now they are on some kind of roll right now. What did you see in this game, and how were they able to pull the upset off?
Helena Capital scored all 23 of their points, 3 touchdowns and an intentional grounding penalty that resulted in a safety in about 8.5 minutes in the first half. So that's a little overwhelming to go down 23-0 pretty much all of a sudden for Billings West, especially on your home field and in the postseason. Carter Pappas had 3 touchdowns throwing the ball for Helena Capital, and then Peyton Pappas had 126 yards rushing. And Helena Capital, that stingy defense, was able to hang on as Billings West came out into the second half strong. Cy Ryan had a pick 6 for that team, and this was a 14-7 ball game in the opener where Billings West was able to grind out a victory, and you thought maybe the Golden Bears were coming out and they might make a comeback on their home field, but it was not to be. The Helena Capital defense again was just too much for Billings West, and West 2 upsets in a row, and they are bounced out of the postseason. So a disappointing way to end a year where they were dominant at times. Billings West was one of the best teams in AA for much of the year. Helena Capital is probably the hottest team in the state though right now.
Yeah, Billings West beat Sentinel 28-0 3 weeks ago. Last 2 weeks, they have not looked good, and like you said, they got bounced from the playoffs. So disappointing end to their year for sure. Helena building some momentum, 28-21 over Bozeman, another upset win for them. They move on to the semifinals to play Glacier. What did you see, Helena at Bozeman?
Well, Ryan Arnston is now the all-time leading rusher for Helena High School, and that was partially because of 37 rushes, 246 yards on Friday night, with a touchdown mixed in there. And he's really what makes the Helena offense go. If they're able to get the run game going and they're able to balance it out with Caleb Winterburn, who got a couple touchdowns as well, both rushing and through the air. He had 2 passing and 1 rushing. And Helena was able to take advantage of some turnovers by Bozeman on Friday night. The last time they won in the first round, this is only the second time in 5 years that they've won, and the last time they won was against Bozeman in 2014. 3 turnovers though, a fumble recovery for Helena and 2 interceptions. That led to 21 Bengals points, and that makes a huge difference, especially in a playoff game. Callahan O'Reilly still had 357 yards and 3 total touchdowns, but it was just too much to overcome. Those 3 turnovers were too much to overcome for Bozeman on their home field. They still had a great year. Coming off the state championship, they still went to 8-2 in kind of a transition year. So that tells you a little something about the Hawks. They're not going anywhere. But congratulations to Helena. They proved me wrong. They went into Bozeman, and they are moving on.
Helena 28-21 over Bozeman. Helena will play Kalispell Glacier. Billings Senior will host Helena Capital. Next week, we're going to have Dane Oliver on the show. I promise you, we're going to get him, don't worry, to preview the state championship game of the AA playoffs. Thank you for watching Wake Up Missoula. This has been Wake Up Sports on Missoula Community Access Television. I am Cole Johnson.
And I'm Kempson Cross.
Have a terrific week.
Hi, I'm Kate. Did you know Missoula County has an awesome website where you can view anything and everything you need to know about the election? MissoulaVotes.com is your election toolkit, which is like a Swiss Army knife for voters. This resource will help you be election ready. Not only will this site help you save time on or before Election Day, but MissoulaVotes.com is equipped with election forms, access to the My Voter page, a glossary of important terms, links to candidate information, voter information pamphlets, a voter checklist, dates, timelines, and polling place locations. If you're an absentee voter, you'll even be able to track your ballot as it makes its way back to the elections office. Make sure you're election ready this season and don't miss your opportunity to vote. Why wait? Don't start late. Visit MissoulaVotes.com today.
Hey, welcome back to Wake Up Missoula. We're going to start wrapping up the show. It's Monday. It's the beginning of the week, and it is elections tomorrow. So just so you guys know, that was just another more about elections and stuff and those PSAs we've been showing on Missoula Community Access Television throughout the day. All this stuff happening, so much happening. We'll have more of your results on Wednesday to see which ballot initiatives got passed. There's a lot of ballot initiatives.
Yes. Yes. So let's go over them.
Let's just go over them real quick.
So the big one is the library bonds. So the library wants to get a new building, and if they get a new building, they can encompass all these different programs. As the library serves about like 1,500 people a day.
Yes. So we're not allowed to promote the library, even though that we do necessarily have a stake in living in the library. So I can't say you should vote for the library so we can be inside the library. And I also can't say that it's a great idea to vote for the library. And I also can't say that...
You can't say these things.
I just can't say these things.
This is just like super rebellious
of
this guy.
No, I just can't say those.
No.
I just can't say that... investing in libraries is like investing in the communities. And I can't say stuff like...
it's for our education. It's for our future. It's for our children's future. It's for the education. And a lot of people use the library. 1,500 people a day use the library.
But we can't say that because we don't want to sway anyone's people's votes on whether or not they should or they shouldn't vote for this library bond.
And then another initiative is trapping on public lands.
Yes, trapping. Trapping has been a huge issue in Montana as long as I've lived here. They've tried this before, and this is another bond that they're trying to prevent any kind of trapping because a lot of people feel as though it's cruel to animals. Yeah. And nobody really traps anymore because it's more like an old world thing, like fur traders and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Back in the fur trader, it was perfectly fine because it was the symptom of the time. That's the word of the day, is symptom.
Yeah, symptom of the time. And so what they're really concerned about also, it's an ethical issue. If you set up a trap, and how often are they going back to checking these traps for the animals? Are they dying in agony? Or are you checking them often? Yeah, so that's another one. And then
there's a brain research, the one for Montana to start any brain research whatsoever.
And then the last one,
I think it's for Alzheimer's and dementia patients.
And then the last one is the medical marijuana one. And so that one,
it's just the ability to have medical marijuana.
That's what I thought.
And the state is voting on legalizing marijuana. It has nothing to do with the people's vote. It's the state is actually going to determine it themselves. Okay, so your senators are going to be basically voting for that. Because I looked it up and it was C1, blah, blah, blah. And it's no public vote. It's mostly just the U.S. senators. It's the legislator in Montana which will be voting on that.
I didn't know that.
Because I think it's the same group of people who legalized gay marriage. Oh, yeah. Because there wasn't a vote. There wasn't a statewide vote for that in Montana for because it was kind of Montana gave the right for gays to get married, same-sex marriage. I can't say gay.
Yeah.
I think it's a same-sex marriage.
Same-sex marriage.
But even though the whole federal government passed it soon after.
Yeah.
Fact.
When you have a lot of gay friends, you kind of pick up these slang terms. We can't really say.
Yeah,
but
really At least we're not on Deer Lodge because they say the other word.
Really? Oh no.
Oh, they say that hey, what's up? Yo, what's up? And then it's just so easily for them. But of course, I'm not trying to bash on Deer Lodge. But also, there's a couple. let's see, what other bond? The Cold Spring Bond.
What's the Cold Spring Bond?
This Cold Spring Bond is that the MCPS wants to basically change their building site for the Cold Springs, and that's the property they already own. So it's not going to cost anymore. They're going to basically build the building, but they're just going to build it somewhere else.
Oh.
And they said it's going to be a no-cost thing, but they need people's approval to vote for it.
Okay.
To vote for it. So
Yeah.
that's one of the votes that it's one of the bonds or one of the things on the ballot that's not going to cost anybody anything, which is usually pretty rare if you really
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
But they need the people's vote to determine if they want to build it next to Linda Vista Golf Course.
And so you guys, there are lots of important initiatives on this ballot, and our vote, really affects us, especially in Montana. So go out there and vote, you guys.
Yep.
It's important, and we have a voice.
Yep. And our voice is on our Wake Up Missoula page at wakeupmissoula.wixsite.com/Wake Up Missoula. You can also find us on our Facebook page, Wake Up Missoula. It's pretty simple. You can also follow us on Twitter at Wake Up Missoula. Also pretty simple, but this one gets a little complicated.
MCAT is also on Twitter. You guys can follow us at MCAT TV Missoula. A little more complex. We're on Facebook. You guys can like us on that. And to find out more information or watch us live, go to MCAT.org.
Yes, there's a city council meeting tonight on MCAT, so I suggest you guys check it out. There's not really any major things that they're talking about, just like rezoning and the budget. So
nice.
I'll hopefully talk more about it on Wednesday when we come back, and we'll tell you all about what's happening on Wednesday. We also have Hallmark or Bullmark this Wednesday, and I also want to thank Kempson and Nicole for joining us for Wake Up Sports. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. Asaph, for your wonderful story about Dragnet MASH history.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you.
Thank me.
Stop it. You just lost it. No.
So for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Rand.
For Wake Up Missoula, my name is Noelle McFoy. Here's Asaph out of 9. We'll see you guys all on Wednesday.